2003 Ford Explorer with a crank no start condition. Let's plug in the Innova 5610 and see if we can get it figured out. Hey, what's up YouTube? Dan the Fix It Man. Got another quick video here for you. Got a 2003 Ford Explorer with a crank no start condition. Now, I don't know if we have any active check engine lights or anything like that. The owner just had this towed over here, dropped it off around the corner from my house. I just brought over the Innova 5610 scan tool to see if we can plug this in and figure out what's going on with it. I've got nothing. All right, let's try it in neutral. Okay, so it cranked over and then stopped. They've probably been cranking it for a while and that battery's probably dead. So now it says we don't have any check engine lights or powertrain DTCs. Let's take a look a little bit deeper in the menu here. Let's go down to Ford OEM Enhanced. Confirm that is our vehicle. Continuous memory DTCs. Let's take a look at that. Turn the ignition off and then back on. So we've got P0232, fuel pump secondary circuit high. Well, that means we probably have an issue with our fuel pump or our fuel pump wiring. It could be a bad relay, a bad fuse, or the pump itself could be bad or going bad. Now in this vehicle, we should get a fuel pump prime when I cycle the key to on. So let's do that real quick. I'm gonna turn it off and then let's listen. Now, unfortunately, we have that annoying dinging noise, but I did not hear the fuel pump come on. Of course, it's possible the fuel pump is bad, but it could also be a fuse or a relay, or even the inertia switch could also be tripped. So let's take a look at those things here and see if we can troubleshoot this a little bit farther on down the line. Unfortunately, I'm not at home, and so I don't have the ability to plug in a battery charger. So I'm just gonna hook up the little jump pack here and see if we are just not getting power. I might even start with the inertia switch and see if that's been tripped. And we'll maybe get out the test light or a voltmeter and see if we have power through that. If so, we might just keep on moving down the line down to the fuel pump. So let's take a look at that first and see if we can figure it out. Well, those hood supports are dead. Unfortunately, that happens a lot on these. Those are completely dead, not holding this up, and I don't have anything to prop it up. That makes this hard to film and work on at the same time, but let's go ahead and hook up our jump pack here and put a little bit of power into the battery and see if that helps us out. All right, well, that's clicking and doing its thing, so we know we've got some power. I'm probably gonna kill this jump pack, but that's all right. Just have to set the hood down on that for a minute. And let's take a look at that inertia switch. All right, so the inertia switch is right down here, and you can actually reach your finger up above and push down, and if it clicks, that means that it was tripped. Now I'm pushing down on that to verify that that has not been tripped, and I don't think it has been. I didn't hear a click or anything. I'm gonna put the key in and try to start it now. There it is. That was it. That's all it was. It was just the inertia switch had been tripped. All right, I'm gonna let that run for a minute and charge our battery. Now I'm wondering if there's an issue with this plug here. I had it started a minute ago, and then I was just pushing on that a little bit and that caused it to die. So let's try to start it now. I'm in neutral. There it is. It started. All right, now since I have it running, before I mess with that anymore, I'm gonna try to get this back home, hook that battery up to a charger. Right now, the alternator's charging it. I just tested it, it's putting out 14 volts, but I don't wanna touch that switch or do anything else until I get this back home. It is running, so let's go do that now. We made it home. All right, well, I'm gonna get a battery charger hooked up, and of course I'll find a hood prop to hold that hood open. We'll keep going on this. Now all I did was cycle the inertia switch down, and that did allow the vehicle to start. Again, it's only starting in neutral, but I think that's another issue, and I'm not really gonna dive into that right now. But I wanna take a look at the wiring there, because for some reason it also died as I touched it. Now that could have been a coincidence that it just died because it's such a low battery, maybe drawing too much from the alternator and it decided to give up. But I wanna verify that that wiring is good. Take a look at those connections and make sure that we don't have any other issues coming from that inertia switch or from that connection. But obviously the fuel pump is working, fuses are working, and relays are working because we are running just fine and don't have any issues right now. So I just want to make sure that this is our only issue and we don't have any other gremlins or anything else that's causing that to not start. I just want to pull off this connector and take a closer look. Make sure we don't have anything melted or anything like that. Looks pretty clean. I think I might even take off the inertia switch and take a closer look at that, make sure that it is functioning properly. 5.5 millimeter to take this off. Now the switch looks okay, the connectors look pretty clean, and I don't see any corrosion or anything, and the connector wasn't melted. Let's go ahead and cycle that a few times. We should be able to wrap on this and that should disengage it. You can hear the little ball in there kind of rattling around, and then you press, and then see it doesn't make any noise. Just tap on that again. You can hear it rattling. Press it in. It's nice and solid. Now, based on the harness, we only have 2 wires, so let's double check that and make sure that this is working properly and has good continuity. All right, I've got a couple leads here hooked up to the switch. Just hooking up my multimeter to the test leads here. Okay, so we do have continuity through there. Now I'm going to tap on that, see if I can do it without blocking my meter. And now it's open. Let's press on it again. And now there is continuity. It seems like it's working just fine. You know, they must have slammed the door or something. You know, maybe somebody kicked underneath here without realizing it and caused that inertia switch to trip. Now, when I press that, I thought I would hear a click, but there is no audible click. You can see I'll trip it again. You can hear it rolling around, but when you press down, you can kind of feel it engage, but there's no audible click. So inertia switch, I think, is fine. It probably was just doing its job and cut that fuel pump off, and that's why it wouldn't start. The other reason I wanted to start here with the inertia switch is because if we do have power here and the inertia switch is working, then we could go down to the fuel pump, and that would be the next thing that we would take a look at. Now, if we didn't have power here, then we would go up into the engine bay and take a look at the fuse and or relay. But because we got it to start just by pushing that inertia switch, let's go ahead and put this back in. We'll verify that it starts just fine, and this should be good to give back to the owner. Now I'm just going to push the button again just to make sure that we didn't accidentally trip that while putting it in, but I think we're good to go. Well, hopefully that was our issue. Let's go see if it'll start now. I've had the battery charging up now, so it should be able to start on its own. Again, it wasn't starting in park for me, so we might have to shift it to neutral, but let's go ahead and try it real quick. There we go, started in park as well. So the low voltage might have been our other reason why it wasn't starting in park and only starting in neutral, but we definitely got it running now, started right up. Let's go ahead and plug back in and see if we can clear that code. Again, we've got no powertrain DTCs, but let's go down to the Ford OEM Enhanced and see if that code is still there or if we were able to erase it. Continuous memory, that's the one we want to do. Now it says turn the ignition off, then back on. We'll do that. Okay, so the code is still showing up and it doesn't look like there's an option to erase it, and that's probably why they call it a continuous memory DTC. We're probably just gonna have to drive this and go through a little bit of a drive cycle to make sure that that code turns off, but it seems like that was our only issue, was a tripped inertia switch. Again, that could have been caused by slamming a door really hard or bumping something or even going off a curb or hitting another car. Of course, that's designed so that if you get into an accident, it'll cut the power to the fuel pump and prevent that from flowing fuel or spilling gas into a, you know, a potentially dangerous situation. So the owner was telling me that their kid was stopped at a light and the car just shut off. So, you know, if he had a passenger that accidentally kicked the quarter panel or something like that, that would have also triggered that inertia safety switch and caused the car to die. So if you've got a Ford Explorer with a crank no start problem, you're not getting fuel, that might be the first thing that you want to check, because it's easy to get to and it doesn't even require any tools. Just reach up there and push down on that button and see if that solves your problem. I hope you like this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you don't mind. That does help me out. And of course, I'll get a link in the description where you can pick up your very own Innova 5610 scan tool just like this one, along with some of the other parts and tools used in the video as well. Thanks so much for watching and good luck.